Problem number 17, find the interval of convergence of the sum from n from 0 to infinity of n factorial times x plus 3 to the n. So like usual, for these kinds of find the interval of convergence of power series questions, we're going to use the ratio test to analyze this. Okay, so what is happening here? This is our a sub n. When we do the absolute value of a sub n plus 1 divided by a sub n, we obtain n plus 1 factorial times x plus 3 to the n plus 1 divided by n factorial times x plus 3 to the n. Okay, what do we do here? We're going to rewrite n plus 1 factorial as n plus 1 times n factorial times x plus 3 to the n plus 1 divided by n factorial x plus 3 to the n. So some things cancel, n factorials cancel, and n of our factors of x plus 3 cancel. And so we're just left with the absolute value of n plus 1 times x plus 3. Now n plus 1 is never going to be 0 or negative. X plus 3 might be negative, so we need to leave absolute value bars only around the x plus 3. So we have n plus 1 times absolute value of x plus 3. Okay, we're ready to say rho is the limit as n goes to infinity of this ratio, n plus 1 times absolute value of x plus 3. The x plus 3 absolute value of that can, of course, be moved outside the limit here. X plus 3 times the limit as n goes to infinity of n plus 1. But think about what happens here. This limit here is infinity. And x plus 3 is anything other than 0, you're going to get infinity here. And so then this is going to diverge as long as absolute value x plus 3 is not equal to 0. Well, what happens if absolute value x plus 3 is equal to 0? That only happens, absolute value x plus 3 is equal to 0. That only happens when x is equal to minus 3. And if we go back to our original series here, so n from 0 to infinity, n factorial times, let's plug in minus 3 plus 3 to the n, that's 0 to the n. This series is 0. And so it converges at x is equal to minus 3. So when I say find the interval of convergence, well, find the set of all values for which it converges for. It only consists, the set of all values, I need to make a squiggle and then make a 3, and then I make a squiggle here. The set of all values for which this converges is the Singleton set minus 3. So this sometimes happens when we're dealing with power series. Sometimes the radius of convergence is 0. But even if the radius of convergence is 0, our power series is always going to converge at its center, and here it's centered when x is equal to minus 3.